Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Winnell Wilmot. On this channel, I talk about all things faith, family, and fearlessness. Today's topic is prioritizing. This is going to be quick and to the point. This is something that a realization that I came to recently that I want to share with you. And when I came to that realization, I reflected on my life and how some changes were made in my life. I was like, how come I didn't see that before? So let's get into it, okay? I don't know if this might be like a tip or I don't know. Take it as you will, right? But something that I realized recently that I discovered is that what you prioritize form your habits. So I know there's many of us that have some habits that have not been serving to us that we want to change. And sometimes we try and it seems like we just end up falling back into the old habits. That is because we are not prioritizing the thing that we need the habit to sustain. I hope that makes sense, right? And so I'm going to share real quick something that happened to me when it comes to just prioritizing and habits, and it was kind of hurtful, but it was the truth. So I do not remember exactly how I came in contact with this young lady, but she was working towards coaching and she wanted to practice. And so I was like, hey, you can practice on me. And her thing was around, I'm not even gonna lie, I don't remember exactly what her concentration was around. But one of the things that I wanted for her to help me out with was prioritizing, like my schedule, restructuring, all of those things. At that time, y'all, I had a lot on my plate. And so with work and then trying to, make sure family is okay and all of that. And I think at that time I might have been working 2 jobs. I'm not sure. But my thing was I prioritize family. That was my thing, right? I'm like, family is my number one, like outside of God. And so she was like, all right, list all the things that are a priority to you that you want to give, majority of your time to, and rank them in importance. And the most important will be the one that consume most of your time. And so I listed my schedule out for the week. Ooh, y'all, sorry. Allergies. Whew. All right, I listed my schedule for the week and we went through it and we tallied out the amount of hours that I dedicated to those things, right? Come to find out, I spent more time with work than I did with my family. And she was like, so it looks like work is more important to you than your family, was what she said. And I was so irritated in that moment, to be honest with you. And I felt some type of way. But after the session, when I reflected and I thought back on it, I was like, she's right. Although it's not my intention to prioritize work over my family, at that time, that was the situation that I was in, because financially, I needed to work those many hours to be able to provide for my family. And so spending quality time for my family and nurturing them, was something that I wanted to be a priority. But providing for them financially was what actually was the priority based on my schedule. So this is the thing. We can have an idea in mind of what we want, but it's completely different from what we're doing and what it looks like on paper. And so I want to encourage you, if you're like working on forming a new habit, like put your goals on paper. Put on paper what you've been doing, how many hours, whatever the time frame that you dedicate to that thing that you have been doing that maybe have not been serving you. What would it look like for you to do something that is serving you, working towards that goal, right? And so that was an awakening experience for me, that what I felt in my heart and what I thought I was doing was different from what the facts said. Okay. And then so back to how prioritizing influences your habits, right? The things you prioritize, your habit would come in alignment with it. The thing is, we try to do it backwards. We try to change our habits without prioritizing the things that we want, right? And then so because changing your habit is not rooted in anything, we easily fall back, right? And so I'll give an example for me. When I prioritize for me my health, and like losing weight was something that was important to me, a bad habit that I had I would eat late at night. And I try everything to change it because I wanted to be healthier and all of these things. But I would do it like 1, 2, or 3 days, and then it would just go, backwards. But when that was a focus to me, like right now, is not, we're going to get back to it. But when that was a priority to me, me eating late at night, like eventually, slowly, it changed. Yes, it was still hard for me to break that habit. And even now, since I started that, even now I don't eat late at night as often as I used to before. And so it was hard for me to break that habit, but it eventually came into play where I wouldn't eat late at night because I prioritized my health, because I knew that eating late at night affected me losing the weight, affected the health goal that I wanted to. And so now every time when it was late and I'll grab a food to eat, it was, I shouldn't eat this because like this is going to put me backward. This is so, like, all of those things came to play, right? And then so little by little I started cutting back to now I started implementing the solution for that. And so the solution was, all right, what do I need to do to make sure that late at night I'm not hungry? Something that I would do, like, I don't eat often, and so I could go all day without eating, and then like late at night I'll eat something and I'll be good. And so I know to prevent myself from being hungry late at night, I have to eat throughout the day. Right. And so I started making sure that I would eat throughout the day so that late at night I'm not up 12, 1 o'clock in the morning trying to eat, and then eating something too that's too heavy for that time frame. So I hope this is making sense. So just think about it with anything in your life that you're trying to change your habits around, and ask yourself, have you prioritized that goal? Is that goal important to you? Right? If that goal is important to you and you have prioritized it, and it's to the point where you're like, I'm not going to waver on this goal, I'm going to achieve this goal, the habits that you're trying to implement will eventually start to fall into place, and you will be able to stick to it, because now you're no longer prioritizing the opposite. Right? So for me, when it came to like my health, and when I wasn't focusing on my weight, what I was prioritizing was just like being free, comfort, doing whatever, right? Eating whatever, eating at any time. That was my priority. And so my habit influenced that. My habit carried that out. My habit made sure I achieved what I was prioritizing. Now, was it a good thing to prioritize? No, it wasn't, right? But my habit fell in line with that priority. If you prioritize putting God first, right? And God even give us a structure of our life and how we are supposed to approach things, right? He gave a hierarchy of things. So him first, right? If you marry your husband, then your children, then ministry, then everything else falls under that, right? And so he said for us to put him first, for us to seek first the kingdom, and everything else will be added. And so if we see that we are struggling with seeking God first, that tells us that we are not prioritizing seeking God first. Therefore, our habits doesn't support that goal, that desire, because it's not a priority to us. The things that we prioritize, we go hardcore on. When it comes to working, we prioritize working And it may not be because we desire to prioritize it. It's probably just because it's necessary, right? In order for us to survive, we have to work, we have to make money. And so we have to think about our priorities just like that, the type of mentality that we take when it comes to our regular job, to think about it like that, that in order for us to survive, this thing have to happen. In order for us to survive, we have to seek God first. We have to put him first. It's non-negotiable, right? In order for us to survive, we have to be healthier. It's a non-negotiable, okay? And then so after that, our habits will start to align up with the things that we prioritize, because it will no longer be comfortable when we deny ourselves the thing that we're prioritizing. It will no longer be comfortable. And if we would get to a point where that we will no longer want to sit in that discomfort, that now we will start implementing habits to support that priorities and to make that thing that we prioritize possible. So that is my little 2 cents. And this morning I was on the prayer call with the Morning Glory group, and my sister who led that, she was like, that's my 5 cents. I was like, I never heard that. Usually I hear my 2 cents. And so that is my 5 cents for today. If you're struggling with habits, evaluate the things that you are prioritizing in your life. If you're struggling to implement new habits that's going to serve you to achieve the goals that you desire, evaluate the things that you are prioritizing in your life, and then decide to restructure some things around, so that those things can become a priority and it's not last on the list. Because if it lasts on the list, it's going to be hard for you to implement habits to sustain it, because it's not important. Okay, you have to make those things a non-negotiable. Thank you for listening. Like this video if you